It's nighttime in the big city. The people upstairs are making noise. A coyote cowers in the bushes on Observatory Hill. It's Theme Time Radio Hour with your host, Bob Dylan.
Howdy, partners. Time once again for the biggest little show on radio, Theme Time Radio Hour. And today, we're going to talk about something that's 174 times the size of Rhode Island, 33.5 times the size of Wales, and 23 times the size of Belgium. Just slightly bigger than France, and it's 7.4% of the United States' total area. Home of the Longhorn, home of the Armadillo, home of the Mockingbird. You guessed it, folks. I'm talking about Texas. They say Alaska's the largest state in the Union. That's only until it melts. Their state motto is friendship. So gather around the radio, friends, and give a listen as we sing a series of love songs to that great state, Texas.
The eyes of Texas are upon you all the livelong day. The eyes of Texas are upon you. You cannot get away. Do not think you can escape them at evening or early morn. The eyes of Texas are upon you. Till Gabriel blows his horn.
You know, there's no rule that says you have to be from Texas to sing about Texas. Here's a guy now named Webb Michael Pierce. He doesn't use the Michael part of his name professionally, though. He was born in Louisiana, and he died in Tennessee. But he sang about Texas. Here's Webb Pierce, Drifting Texas Sand.
Well, I went to the river to water my horse. I couldn't climb that river, just rode across on that drifting, shifting Texas sand. Texas sand, drifting Texas sand, a sandy land down by the Rio Grande. Well, the sand in my coffee, sand in my tea. When I die, they're gonna bury me beneath that drifting, shifting Texas sand. Texas sand, drifting Texas sand, a sandy land down by the Rio Grande. Well, I went to the river to water my horse. I couldn't find that river, just flowed across on that drifting, shifting Texas sand. Well, the sand in my coffee, sand in my tea. When I die, they're gonna bury me beneath that drifting, shifting Texas sand.
There he is, the wandering boy, Webb Pierce, Drifting Texas Sand, from his Walking the Streets album, written by Buster Coward. That's a heck of a name. Webb had 96 chart-hitting singles, 54 of them in the top 10, and 13 of them hitting number 1.
Hello, Dottie. It's me, Pee-wee.
Well, where are you calling from?
Where?
Honest. Listen, I'll prove it.
The stars at night are big and bright. Deep in the heart of Texas.
Here's a song that mocks sentimental patriotism. Andy Anderson, Deep in the Heart of Texas. That was Andy Anderson, Deep in the Heart of Texas. Andy's original band was called the Rolling Stones, but that's back in the 50s, when Mick was still in short pants. Andy and his Rolling Stones cut an album for Sun, but it never came out because Sam Phillips got so busy with artists like Elvis, Jerry Lee, Roy Orbison, and Charlie Rich. Some of that album is still in the vaults. Let's continue looking at Texas. You know, Texas is the only state to have the flags of 6 different nations fly over it. The flags of Spain, France, Mexico, the Republic of Texas, the Confederate States, and the United States have all flown on the Texas horizon. We're proud to have Texas now as one of our 50 states. Let's keep it that way, fellas. Here's a song by a great singer who also wrote songs. His name is Jimmy Lewis. He joined the Drifters for a short time. In 1968, Ray Charles signed him to Tangerine Records. Jimmy Lewis wrote and arranged every track on Ray Charles's Doing His Thing album. But a year before that, he found himself on Minute Records, where he recorded this song. Here he is, Jimmy Lewis, singing about all those girls from Texas.
Not long ago, we dated about a month, and I decided to let her go, yeah, but she pulled a razor about 10 inches or so, and every night you hear me knocking up on her door. Yes, I am now. She said, Jimmy, I'll give you the clothes off of my back. You can have every dime that I've got in my shack there, but if you ever try to leave me, they'll have to pick you up in a sack, because me and my razor will see to that. Yes, it did, y'all, because that's the way the girls are from Texas. That's the way the girls are from Texas. Yes. Now listen, now I thought it over. I decided not to tarry for my own safety, people. I decided I'd better marry, yeah, but when the preacher got to the part about till death do us part, I told him to skip it, She had that understanding right from the start. Yes, she did now, because that's the way the girls are from Texas, Houston or San Antonio. That's the way the girls are from Texas. Love them right or leave them alone now. That's the way the girls are from Texas. I don't care if it's Houston or Beaumont. That's the way the girls are. And this one I met was from a little town called Cut Shoot now. That's the way the girls are from Texas. I don't care if it's Beaumont. That's the way the girls are from Texas. Yeah, yeah. Dallas. Oh, now I'm trying to tell y'all now. Oh, that's the way the girls are from Texas. And I want to say one more thing before I leave. That's the way.
That was Jimmy Lewis with a cautionary tale all about the girls from Texas. And he sounds as bad off as a rubber-nosed woodpecker in a petrified forest. Well, not every girl from Texas is dangerous. Here's some of my favorites. Janis Joplin was from Texas. Sissy Spacek, Joan Crawford, Carol Burnett, Renee Zellweger, cosmetician Mary Kay Ash, and Bonnie Parker. Well, I guess she'd be a little bit dangerous. Another woman that was born in Texas is Claudia Alta Taylor. Taylor was her maiden name. Her married name was Johnson, and she was better known as Lady Bird. She was given the nickname Lady Bird when she was a baby. Her nursemaid commented, "She's as pretty as a ladybird." Well, she grew up loving birds and all of the environment. She helped convince Texas to plant wildflowers on state highways and campaigned to keep America beautiful. Certainly one of our most beautiful first ladies, Lady Bird Johnson.
Each year, we spend over $20 million picking up trash along our Texas highways. Messing with Texas isn't just an insult to the Lone Star State. It's a crime.
Don't mess with Texas.
Here's kind of a super session. A couple of big stars at the time meeting up on one record together. Jimmy Rogers and the Carter Family with their record, The Carter Family and Jimmy Rogers in Texas.
I go down this lonesome trail, just galloping along. I love to sing this yodeling cowboy song. Gee whiz, Mother, it's lonesome up here in these Kerrville hills, and I wish we had some company. Somebody would come to see us or something would happen.
Hello, Jimmy. Hello.
Well, as I live and breathe, look who's here. Say, Mother, come on out here. Here's the whole Carter family. Gee, I'm glad to see you all. Have seats around here. Well, you finally got out here in Texas, did you?
Yes. Gee, Jimmy, you sure have got a pretty home out here.
Yes, Sarah, this is a pretty nice little shack. You know, we can stand right here on my front porch and look pretty nearly into Mexico.
Jimmy, I guess you kind of like Texas.
Oh, boy, I like Texas, and how. Everybody likes Texas. You know, boy, this is a country out here where men are men and the women are proud of it. Say, what do you think of Texas, Carter?
Well, since driving through Texas, I've seen more windmills and less water, more cows and less milk, seen farther and seen less than any dat-burned country I was ever in.
Is that right? Well, you know, Texas is the largest state we've got, old-timer. Mother, can't we get over a couple of these chickens out there in the yard and fry them up for these folks? I know they're hungry.
Yes, Jimmy, I'd love to have some fried chicken.
All right, Maybelle, we're going to knock over a couple of them right away. We're going to have a mess of chicken.
Jimmy, how about a little music?
I don't know, Sarah. You know, I've had the blues all day. I guess you got no business with the blues unless you can sing them. You help me sing this old T for Texas thing, huh?
All right.
T for Texas, T for Tennessee. T for Texas, T for Tennessee. T for Thelma, that gal that made a wreck out of me. Yodelay, if you don't want me, mama, you sure don't have to solve. If you don't want me, mama, you sure don't have to stall. 'Cause I can get more women than a passenger train can haul. Yodelay, yodelay. Mother, how about that fried chicken out there? All right, come on, folks, let's eat here.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, let's eat.
That was Jimmy Rogers and the Carter family. Both of whom were discovered by Ralph Peer, who worked for the Victor Talking Machine Company, which later became RCA, which later became BMG, which I guess nowadays is Sony BMG. And now they got all these people working for them. And I don't see any of them going out to find people like Jimmy Rogers and the Carter family. They're in CBGB's, which is also gone now. Time marches on.
Mexico lindo. I don't see nothing so lindo about it.
Just looks like more Texas, as far as I'm concerned.
You have no eyes.
One of the great things about Texas music is that it has so many influences. You hear country, blues, soul, and from right across the border, a bit of conjunto and norteño music. And here's some of the best. Don Santiago Jimenez. You might know his son, Flaco, but his father, Don Santiago, was making great records as early as 1942. He was famous for his use of the two-row button accordion. He quit music for a while, lived in Dallas, and worked as a janitor. In 1977, he moved back to San Antonio and went back to making music. He did some recordings with his son, Flaco, and some on his own. Here's one from Mahuli Records, all about his hometown, San Antonio.
Ya no quiero que me beses ni besarte, ni mirarte ni siquiera oír tu voz, porque supe que tenías otro amante y en Laredo ya tenías otros dos. Te gusta mucho el baile y bailas al compás. Te vas hasta Laredo y quieres más y más. Ranchero, jugador y navegante, ya me voy para nunca más volver. Me dejaste sin dinero y sin rolante, por el mundo te me echaste a correr. Te gusta mucho el baile y bailas al compás. Te vas hasta Laredo y quieres más y más. Ya me voy y te dejo en San Antonio, tu mañita no te la puedo quitar. Hay momentos que pareces el demonio, cuando mueves la cintura pa' bailar. Te gusta mucho el baile y bailas al compás. Te vas hasta Laredo y quieres más y más.
That was Don Santiago Jimenez. And one person that was really influenced by him was David Hidalgo from Los Lobos. I ran into David at Fitz-Eagle, and we talked about the Jimenez family.
Well, Santiago, for one thing, he's from San Antonio, and when he was a kid, he'd go down to the dance halls and listen to the German and the Czech bands play polkas with the accordions and things. And I believe he was the first one to add lyrics, in Spanish to the polkas. And he's just one of the godfathers of Tejano music.
In 1836, two brothers, John Kirby Allen and Augustus Chapman Allen, purchased over 6,000 acres of land for $9,428. They named this town after Sam Houston, the 19th century statesman, politician, and soldier. He was a key figure in the history of Texas. He served as the president of the Republic of Texas, senator from Texas, and finally governor. What's amazing is that he's the only person in U.S. history to have been the governor of two different states, Texas and also Tennessee. His namesake city is the largest city in the state of Texas. There are more than 2 million people living in the Houston area. Not a bad investment for $9,428. I think I'd get an angry phone call if I let this hour go by without playing the red-headed stranger. Here's Willie. I got Texas in my soul.
Amarillo, San Antonio, any old place, I just call it my home. I gotta go. I got Texas in my soul. Dallas, Fort Worth, San Angelo, Houston, Austin, or El Paso, I gotta go. I got Texas in my soul. It's there I know my place is. You see only smiling faces, and so, partner, the rest of the world's not worth a pound of good old Texas dirt. I gotta go. I got Texas in my soul. Corpus Christi, Del Rio, west of the Pecos or Old Waco, I gotta go. I got Texas in my soul. Sweetwater, Beaumont, or Wichita Falls, Port Arthur, Brownsville, I hear you call. I gotta go. I got Texas in my soul. Where the tumbleweeds are growing, I know it's there that I am going to stay. I've been a Texan since my birth, no place like it on this earth. I gotta go. I got Texas in my soul. I've been a Texan since my birth, no place like it on this earth. I gotta go. I got Texas in my soul.
Willie Nelson, one of the kings of Texas music, with a title cut from an album he recorded in 1968. I Got Texas in My Soul, a song written by Ernest Tubb and Zeb Turner. Became a hit for Tex Williams, but I think Willie does it mighty fine. It seems like we're playing a lot of country music this week. But what do you expect? We're down in Texas, where they say a worm is the only animal that can't fall down. And here's a man who knew all about that. Larry Davis grew up in Little Rock, Arkansas, but his most famous record has to do with Texas. He played bass with Fenton Robinson, who switched over to the guitar when he joined Don Robey's Duke label. and recorded this song, which has become a bit of a blues standard. From 1958, here's the original version of Texas Flood, Larry Davis.
Telephone lines are down. Well, it's flooding down in Texas, and all the telephone lines are down. Well, I've been trying to call my baby, but I can't get a single sound. Well, dark clouds are rolling. Man, I'm standing out in the rain. Dark clouds are rolling. Man, I'm standing out in the rain. Well, floodwaters keeps on rolling. Man, it's about to drive me insane. Well, I'm leaving you, baby. Lord, I'm going back home to stay. Well, I'm leaving you, baby. Lord, I'm going back home to stay. Well, where there's no floods and tornadoes, baby, the sun shines every day.
Larry Davis, Texas Flood. We talk a lot about Duke Records. We tell you that's where the smart money was. But maybe we should tell you a little bit about the label owner, Don Robey, who was born in Houston. He was a professional gambler and opened the Browns Peacock Dinner Club. It was at that dinner club he found his first client, Clarence Cakemouth Brown, and he started Peacock Records. His biggest hit was probably Big Mama Thornton's #1 smash, Hound Dog. In 1952, he merged his Peacock record label with Duke Records out of Memphis, and Duke Peacock was born. Like many other owners of independent record labels, Robey developed a reputation for unscrupulous business practices. Whether or not Don Robey was on the square or not, one thing we do know is that he made some great records. The great songs live outside of the moment of their inception. We played Jimmy Rogers earlier. He wrote a lot of great songs back in the 20s. 30 years later, in the 50s, people were still recording them. People like Bob Downing, who performed this version of Blue Yodel #1, T for Texas.
Texas, T for Tennessee. All this T for Thelma. Cal made a wreck out of me. You're the lady
word yodel is derived from the German word joden, meaning to utter the syllable yo, as in, yo, bro. Blue Yodel number 1, Bob Downing. Well, I don't have to tell you, the Alamo is located in San Antonio. In the 300 years of the Alamo, it has belonged to Spain, Mexico, Texas, the Confederacy, and the United States. The leading figures there, William Travis, Sam Bowie, and Davy Crockett, honestly believed they could hold the fort until Beckham arrived. The Alamo defenders were outnumbered 10-1, and ever since, the battle cry, "Remember the Alamo," can be heard all through Texas. Right now, we're going to meander just a little bit away from it and go across the alley from the Alamo with June Christie.
Sang a sort of Indian hidey-ho to the people passing by. The Pinto spent his time a swishing flies, and the Navajo watched the lazy skies, and very rarely did they ever rest their eyes on the people passing by. One day they went walking along the railroad track. They were swishing, not looking, toot-toot, they never came back. Across the alley from the Alamo, when the summer sun decides to settle low, a fly sings an Indian hidey-ho to the people passing by. A fly sings an Indian hidey-ho to the people passing by.
That was the Misty Miss Christie, whose birth name was Shirley Luster. She got her start singing with the orchestra leader Boyd Rayburn. Unfortunately, she took a little detour when she came down with scarlet fever. She bounced back, though, got a new name, which was June Christie, joined Stan Kenton's orchestra, and recorded the classic song, Something Cool. Anyway, if you'd like to visit the Alamo, you'll be one of the more than 2.5 million visitors who come to visit the Alamo from all over the world every year.
You will hear, read, see, think, draw, imagine, dream, vomit up the word Alamo, till you want to go and hire the Cleveland Wrecking Company and break it down yourself. The Alamo is there. Everything in the town is named after. Every human, every building, everything. Alamo Drugstore. No, we don't, thank you. Alamo Dry Cleaner. In by 10, out by 5. Alamo Movie Theater. 8:30, 10:30, 12:30. Yes, sir. Alamo Mortuary. No, he's dead. Thank you. Every person walking the street. There's Alamo Bradley and his wife, Alameda. Little Alamo Jr.
Here's a song about Texas that was recorded on a tiny island. It's by King Benny Noahi, known as the king of the Hawaiian guitar. He could play turkey in the straw with his feet. Benny lived in Los Angeles in the early 30s and started a group called King Noahi and the International Cowboys, which featured a very young Roy Rogers. In 1935, he suddenly lost his eyesight. Doctors were never able to explain why he lost his sight, but he didn't let it slow him down. Aside from continuing playing, he also found fame as a long-distance swimmer. In 1946, he swam from San Pedro to Catalina Island in a little over 22 hours. He is still the only blind man to have completed this swim. Personally, I think if he could see how far away it was, he might never have started. Here he is, with Under a Texas Moon, King Benny Nawahi and his Hawaiians.
When the last ray of sun me querida paint the hills with a soft golden hue. When the long day is done, me querida, my poor heart calls for no one but you. Dear one, let the spell of the fading light find you here in my arms tonight, under the Texas moon. Sweet one, let me whisper my love divine, feel the thrill of your lips on mine, under the Texas moon. Desert flowers and the strum of the sweet guitar, fleeting hours and the gleam of a silvery star, from afar, fair one, what care I what tomorrow brings, for tonight it's my heart that sings, under the Texas moon. Of the sweet guitar, fleeting hours and the gleam of a silvery star, from afar, fair one, what care I what tomorrow brings, for tonight it's my heart that sings, under the Texas moon.
That was King Benny Nawahi, sitting under a Texas moon, here on Theme Time Radio Hour, your home for dreams, themes, and schemes. I know a Texan who carries $2,000 in cash with him. That's not too shabby for a 4-year-old. The great writer John Steinbeck had this to say about Texas. I've said that Texas is a state of mind, but I think it is more than that. It is a mystique closely approximating a religion. And this is true to the extent that people either passionately love Texas or passionately hate it. Like one of the recent gubernatorial candidates of Texas most recently said, if you ain't Texan, I ain't got time for you.
Well, Woody, did you begin to sing about this time, or how did that happen?
Well, when I come back from this trip to the Gulf of Mexico that I told you about, then I went back up into the panhandle of Texas, up around Amarillo, Texas, north of Amarillo, Texas, in Pampa and all those oil fields up in there. Big oil fields that just broke out, and there's a big boom on, and times had got pretty hard in Oklahoma, and everybody's drifting out that way, so I drifted out there with them, and I got a job about the third day I was there. So I was wheeling and a dealing there in the whiskey business for a long time. And this guy had a guitar. first I'd grab up this guitar and got to pecking around on it, I thought it sounded awful pretty.
One reason that we love Texas is they got all that oil down there. Here's Oscar McLally and his honey jumpers. All that oil in Texas, and not one drop is mine.
All that oil in Texas, all that oil in Texas, all that oil in Texas, and not one drop is mine. All those steers in Texas, whole lot of cows in Texas, all those steers in Texas, not one poor cow is mine.
There's a rich gal, her name is Sal, lives down by the Alamo. But I ain't going started with a chick named Betty, but I ain't got no spending dough.
All that oil in Texas, all that oil in Texas, all that oil in Texas, not one drop is mine.
Oscar McLally and his honey jumpers, with a song written by Leon Renee, All That Oil in Texas, and Not a Drop Is Mine. Well, maybe yours. At 10:30 a.m. on the 10th of January, 1901, the Spindletop Well in Beaumont, Texas, hit a gusher. It made 1 million fortunes and launched 1,000 legends. For 9 days straight, a tower 200 feet high of pure quality crude erupted from the ground, a full 70,000 barrels a day. This brought many investors to Texas. As a matter of fact, many of the major oil companies got their start as a result of Spindletop and the mania it inspired. Currently, Texas is still the largest oil-producing state in the United States, but people are looking for alternative forms of energy. Willie Nelson's tour bus runs on cooking oil. I've toured with Willie. Sometimes late at night you can see us. I'm filling up my tank at the gas station. He's filling up his at Denny's. Ellen Barkin is a beautiful woman and smart. Listen to what she has to say about Texas.
I've been to Texas several times. Waxahachie, Dallas, Houston, San Antonio, Austin. But I spent a lot of time there. I have relatives there, and I loved my time in Texas with them. As a child, they would take us to Cisco, Texas. And this was, in the early 60s. And you really saw cowboys, leaning against the barbershop, rolling cigarettes with one hand. In a perverse way, I like that they drive their trucks with the guns all lined up in the back, just on display for everybody to see. And I just think this is okay here. You're allowed to do that. And I find it completely bizarre, but I love Texas.
Here's a San Antonio native who got his start as a child performer. As a matter of fact, he once played with Hank Williams. He grew up to make some great records, and this is one of them. From his album Mendocino, Doug's Song, and Texas Me.
I left my home in Texas up in Sausalito, wondering where I ought to be. And I wonder what happened to the man inside the real old Texas me. It's raining in Port Arthur, snowing in Fort Worth town, standing in front of former school hall in San Antonio, my hometown. I'm up here on the Venice beaches, and the fall comes rolling in, and I wonder what happened to the man inside my real old Texas friend. Hiya. Standing outside of Houston, not a dime do I own. I used to go back to those beautiful woods back there in San Antonio. Now I'm up in San Francisco, wondering where I ought to be. And I wonder what happened to the man inside the real old Texas me. Oh, yeah.
There's one for all you headbangers out there. That was Doug Somm in Texas Me. I was talking to this one guy from Texas. He was bragging about his ranch. He said to me, Bob, I get up in the morning, I get in my car, I drive for 8 hours. I don't reach the other end of my ranch. I said to him, I used to have a car like that too.
Pecos Bill was quite a cowboy down in Texas, and the western superman, to say the least. He was the roughest, toughest critter, never known to be a quitter, 'cause he never had no fear of man or beast. So yippee-yi-yi-yi, yippee-yi-o, as the emblem of the Lone Star Texas State.
This is Theme Time Radio Hour, and we're real happy with the response we've been getting. We get a lot of mail and a lot of email, and we try to answer as many as possible. Here's one we just got. Hey, Bob, I'm a lifelong fan and love your show, too. I'm an over-the-road truck driver, and thought it'd be cool if you did a show about truckers. If not, could you please at least say hi to me on your show, and my son Luke, who's at home, too. Thanks a lot. Matt Wilson, Asheville, North Carolina. Well, Matt, I'm sure glad to hear from you. And to tell you the truth, all of our shows are for truckers, if not about truckers. So you keep listening, and I hope you and Luke stay on the safe side and enjoy this number, Waltz Across Texas. Here he is, Ernest Tubb.
When we dance together, my world's in disguise. It's a fairyland tale that's come true. And when you look at me with those stars in your eyes, I could waltz across Texas with you. Waltz across Texas with you in my arms. Waltz across Texas with you. Like a storybook ending, I'm lost in your charms, and I could waltz across Texas with you. Oh, buddy, now. aches and troubles are just up and gone. The moment that you come in view, and with your hand in mine, dear, I could dance on, and I could waltz across Texas with you. Waltz across Texas with you in my arms. Waltz across Texas with you. Like a storybook ending, I'm lost in your charms, and I could waltz across Texas with you.
That was Ernest Tubb, the original E.T., Waltz Across Texas. If you're going to waltz across Texas, how long would it take? Well, if Texas is 662 miles wide, that's about 3.5 million feet. And if you waltz about 2 feet with each step, and you do 1 step per second, that's about 120 feet per minute, or 7,200 feet per hour. That means it would take you 486 hours to waltz across Texas. I hope you chose the right partner.
There's always inequity in life. Some men are killed in a war, and some men are wounded, and some men never leave the country, and some men are stationed in the Antarctic, and some are stationed in San Francisco. It's very hard in military or in personal life to assure complete equality. Life is unfair.
Here are the Dixie Nightingales with a song all about the events that happened in Dallas, Texas on November 22nd, 1963.
Assassin in the window, down in a Texas town, Lord have mercy. He waited till he saw him, then he shot the president down. Oh, what a shame it was. What a shame it was. What a shame it was. He shot the president down. The world became a sphere of solitude and sadness. Rich men and poor men cried when the news came on the radio that President Kennedy had died. What a shame it was. What a shame it was. What a shame it was. He shot the president down. He was a man of honor, a man who had pride, a man who faced responsibility, had equality in his eyes. What a shame it was. What a shame it was. What a tragedy it was. He shot the president down. He shot the president down.
That was the Dixie Nightingales, one of the most successful Southern gospel groups of the late 50s and early 60s. The group where David Ruffin from the Temptations got his start. The Nightingales later changed their name to Ollie and the Nightingales and had a number of popular gospel recordings on Stax.
We really stole Texas, didn't we, Mr. Benedict? I mean, away from Mexico. Why, it's all right there in the history books, isn't it? This man, Mr. Austin, came down with about 300 families, it says, and the next thing you know, they're up and claiming it from Mexico.
But, Leslie, you mustn't talk that way to a Texan. They feel very strongly about their state.
There is a 1,951-mile border between the United States and Mexico. Between October 2003 and April 2004, over 660,000 people were detained by the United States Border Patrol as they tried to cross the border illegally. In 1982, Jack Nicholson and Harvey Keitel started a movie about one of the agents who policed the border. Ry Cooder wrote this song, along with John Hyatt and Jim Dickinson. It's a beautiful number called Across the Borderline.
There's a land, so I've been told. Every street is paved gold, and it's just across the borderline. And when it's time to take your turn, it's a lesson you must learn. You could lose more than you ever hope to find. And when you reach the broken promised land, every dream slips through your hand, then you'll know it's too late to change your mind. 'Cause you paid the price to come this far, just to wind up where you are, and you're still just across the borderline. Up and down the Rio Grande, 1,000 footprints in the sand reveal a secret no one can define. The river flows on like a breath in between our life and death. Tell me who's the next to cross the borderline. And when you reach the broken promised land, every dream slips through your hand, then you'll know it's too late to change your mind. 'Cause you paid the price to come this far, just to wind up where you are, and you're still just across the borderline.
There's Freddie Fender singing along with Ry Cooder, Across the Borderline, from the 1982 movie, The Border. Well, as the sun sets in the west, it's time to bid adieu to our largest state in the continental 48. We're gonna hop in the car, drive across the Panhandle, and see where the highway takes us. Once we find out, we'll report back here, because you can bet your bottom dollar that whatever we find, there's gonna be another theme right here on Theme Time Radio Hour. Your home for dreams, themes, and schemes. Adios.
You've been listening to Theme Time Radio Hour with your host, Bob Dylan. Produced by Eddie Gorodetsky. Associate producer, Sonny Webster. Continuity by Eats Martin. Edited by Damian Rodriguez. Supervising editor, Rob McCumber. The Theme Time research team, Diane Lapson and Bernie Bernstein, with additional research by Lynn Sheridan, Kimberly Williams, and Robert Bauer. Production assistance by Jim McBean. Special thanks to Randy Azrati, Debbie Sweeney, Coco Shunomiya, and Samson Steiner. For XM Radio, Lee Abrams. Recorded at Studio B, the Abernathy Building. Studio engineer, Tex Carbone. This has been a Greywater Park production in association with Big Red Tree. This is your announcer, Pierre Mancini, speaking. Join us again next week for Theme Time Radio Hour when the subject is trains.
Don't mess with Texas.